Hello everyone, Ratgoska here, bringing you another Shoutcast commentary from the StarCast community. You can always check them out at www.thestarcast.com. I've been doing a lot of work with Kino DVT as of late. You can check out his channel, there's a link to it on my channel page. But he and I have been actually playing some 2v2 games at 8 a.m. for me, which is like his middle of the day, I believe, or something like that. It's ridiculous with our, a little crazy with our time zone change, but we should hopefully be casting a game pretty soon that we were both in one of those 2v2 matches we did. It was pretty awesome, so we're going to be getting that cast as well. But right now in this game, we've got Pig spawning as the purple Zerg in the left corner of the map, and we have CeleryMan spawning as the pink Terran in the right hand corner, and this map is Shattered Temple. And it looks like we've got those drone and that Overlord Scout heading into the usual positions by Zerg. You've got your Overlord going into the close position by air, and we've got the drone scout heading into the position by ground, the drone. And so he will know where his opponent is, and this drone should actually make it to this base in time that he can harass this SCV before that barracks gets finished. So we'll see how he decides to do. A lot of Zergs lately have been using the Ice Fisher build, but it doesn't look like Pig's going to be going for that, as he is going for his gas first, and it looks like he is going to be throwing down a spawning pool. Yep, there it goes, pool second. And it looks like we do have a refinery coming up for Pig, so could we possibly be seeing a Reaper opening? No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just using this SCV to pick on that drone to keep it from doing any possible damage, and we've got those guys going into gas right away. So it looks like we do have some kind of factory open, but I don't think it's going to be a fast Reaper opening, just because of the fact that the barracks placement is not optimal for Reapers. You definitely want to put that in a better location. Maybe he should have put his supply depot down here, his barracks up here, so then when he built his tech lab, it would have finished off the wall there and could have gotten that Reaper out right away. So we'll see if he decides to lift that off and drop the tech lab, or if he just wants to get that early gas so he can get a factory going right away, as we do see him getting close to that 100 gas. So we'll see if he decides to go for a factory first. And there's that 100, and where does he decide to do with it? We will wait and see. Waiting and seeing. Looks like just getting some Marines out and getting those Overlords in position so he can keep a relatively close eye on his opponent. Queens are now coming up, and we do have that SCV scout in. It looks like we are going to be throwing down that hatchery right there. Boom, there it goes. Sitting up at 164 gas right now, so no kind of tech path coming from CeleryMan. Looks like he is just getting those Mariners pumped out there, and we still have, oh, there goes the command. Looks like we're going for a fast command center. Probably not the best place to put the command center. I would have started it over here, just so that way it floats down to the minerals a lot faster. By putting your command center here, it can get scouted by this initial Overlord as it flies in, but it looks like he's not choosing to do that. If we check Pig's vision, he does not see that command center going down yet, but this is probably not the most optimal placement of that command center. Now getting a tech lab for that barracks, so we'll likely be seeing a transition, and we do not have that factory going up as well. Could have started those buildings a lot sooner, as he is up at 150 minerals. Definitely would have liked to have seen that command center, though. Like I said, started down here just so it floats to the minerals a lot faster, unless he's planning on sneaking this base up here to the north to make it look like he's on one base play. Which is another little trick that Terrans can do. We can basically put our command centers anywhere we choose to. And it looks like he's got this Overlord down here to keep an eye on the third timing. Meanwhile, we have a small contingent of Marines moving out across the map. 4 Marines in total. And whoop, stim packs on the way. Nice choice to research that. Get that started as fast as possible. It does take 170 seconds now to complete stim pack, which is quite a lot of time. But with these lings here, these Marines will get taken out quite quickly. Doing some pretty nice micro, keeping those alive as long as possible. Still has 4 Marines, but with that spine crawler going up and that Queen there for defense, and these Zerglings with their Zergling speed, he's not going to be able to do too much damage. But he is forcing 8 more Lings and that spine crawler, so kind of putting a little damper in the Zerg's economy. Does have Queens at his bases. Doesn't have the Queens hotkeyed though, which is very interesting. Usually you like to see those Queens hotkeyed to some variation, so that it's easier to inject your larva. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how his larva injects are doing. As you can see, this Queen does have the energy for larva inject, but is choosing not to inject on that hatchery as of yet. So that could possibly affect his macro in just a little bit. And there it goes. Now we've got a Marauder and a Marine out right now. And it doesn't look like we have much getting that bunker thrown up right now. And we do have some Hellions out. Hellions able to roast those Zerglings, kind of shove them back, getting the command center lifted off as it is a vulnerable building right now. And it looks like, yep, those Hellions are just there to kind of hold off, keep those Zerglings at bay. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are delaying this expansion, but a good thing about the orbital commands is they can still build up energy whilst in the aerial position. Meanwhile, we do have another barracks going up here, so we've got 2 barracks, 1 factory play so far, and several Hellions on the map right now, but Pig is getting the necessary counter to Hellions, the Roach Warren, and getting his lair upgrade as well. And there he goes, dropping those mules, so we'll see the Terran economy catch back up. Currently sitting 26 harvesters to 28, so he's doing very good economically so far. Doesn't look like Pig is droning up too heavily right now, but now he's starting to produce those drones. 8 drones now in production. Meanwhile, Hellions are in the center of the field, and we'll see what they choose to do. Would like to see some of these Zerglings start working on these destructible rocks to make way for that 3rd base up there in the north. Either that, or since they're basically just guarding the ramp, you could definitely send some of those around, especially now that his Roach Warren's done. He can get those roaches built up, and I would definitely get these Zerglings moving around, trying to break down some of the rocks, trying to open up the map just a little bit. And it looks like we have a couple of Scout Hellions just choosing to go different attack paths. Hellions and Zerglings run past each other, but nobody choosing to engage there, as we are seeing that army head back home. 2nd factory now in production as well. We will see if he decides to get... Ooh, looks like he switched out that barracks with that factory to get some extra marine usage, and now getting a tech lab on that 1st factory. Just wanted to force those roaches and then switch over to some siege tank production. And what kind of add-on are we going to get on this factory? Another tech lab. So it looks like, yep, we will be going for some siege tank marine play with a nice little Hellion opening. Queuing up 4 siege tanks out of this factory. That's a heavy gas investment right there. But as you see, he's got 2 guys in that geyser, 2 guys in that geyser. Not the most optimal, but it still works. Getting an engineering base so we can get his +1 ups right away. And this Overlord is now peeking into the base. It's going to see what it can see. But luckily for him, he's got most of his buildings down here on the bottom, so a lot of that tech isn't going to be revealed right away. Hellions are now pushing up into this base, but with this huge roach force here, these Hellions are quickly going to get chased out and taking on those destructible rocks for the gold base. I don't know if that was scouted or not. We can check his vision. No, he still sees the rocks up, so he doesn't know that those rocks are taken down. Meanwhile, Hellions engaging the Zerglings here. And these Hellions are quickly getting taken out. Those Hellions are not going to live through this battle. Taking minimal amounts of Zergling damage. Meanwhile, we have this Roach army here heading into the natural base. We'll see if these Roaches... definitely doesn't want to engage here. These Roaches are going to get killed very, very quickly, as we do have another building going up right here. SCVs being pulled off the line to help repair. Roaches taking massive amounts of damage and choosing to retreat with that Roach force. And a 3rd factory being produced, but up right next to this bunker, so this factory won't be able to get any kind of add-on usage. And if we look here, we've got Spire Tech now on the way, as well as getting that 3rd base up at the gold expansion. So his income is definitely going to take off here in just a little bit. 41 harvesters to 48. Terran is slowly, just a little bit behind, but with those meals he should be able to hold on quite well. 2 starports now being produced as well, so we'll see if he decides to get medevacs or if he decides to get Banshees or possibly some other type of aerial unit on those 2 starports. Meanwhile, floating that factory out to a frontal position just to help secure his base here. Has quite a few siege tanks and is now getting that 3rd command center out, but is going to want to get those destructible rocks taken down. Could use one of these back siege tanks here to start firing on those rocks and slowly get those taken down while he's making his way. It looks like we have some serious mech play coming up, as he's only got the few barracks here. Decided to lift that barracks off of the reactor and land it to a new location. It's a very interesting choice to put your barracks off of the reactor, especially since he's got all these Marines queued up here. 2 starports are finished but aren't currently producing units, and getting 3 more barracks is thrown up as well, using those as site on that Terran base. And there he goes, now working on getting those destructible rocks taken down. It's definitely going to want to get some air units in there to take out that Overlord. Meanwhile, look at the Roach base. We do have Mutalisks now being produced, as well as getting his destructible rocks taken down. Only 1 Mutalisk being produced right now. getting those gas geysers going as well. Does small little blunder there. Only has the two harvesters and gas there, so his income on gas is just a little bit low. Terran now is 3 on one, 1 on the other, so he's definitely going to want to have to get that fixed as he notices his gas is going to start running low. He's going to want to check those. Usually when I'm playing, I always just like to click on my refineries and make sure it says 3 and 3. Otherwise, you know, you're running the risk of just not producing fast enough. Meanwhile, getting a very good spread here on his base, which is going to make this base very susceptible to mutalisk harassment. They can just fly in, start picking off some buildings, fly around. You really won't be able to get enough turrets up to do much damage here, and we do have a huge mutalisk force gathering up here in the 12 o'clock position, as well as several zerglings out here in the middle of the map, and that gold base is now starting to get saturated, so we'll see the Zerg's economy really start to take off here soon. Rest of his army sitting back here by these destructible rocks. Meanwhile, that command center is now floating